Hi, everybody. I am just getting set up on the webinar. I just did a mini Periscope for you guys. I know a lot of you are going to be jumping on. This is new, a new version of webinar for me. We're using Webinar Jam on Google Hangout. So I am just making sure that I am live and ready to go. It looks like I'm live and gonna let you guys jump on and all that good stuff. So we'll start in like 10 seconds here. And don't you love this? You can like see the whole beginning of what actually happens as we set up. So we're gonna start tonight all on how to overcome your fears and take action. I know that that is a super huge, I just got the A-okay that we're good. I know that that is a enormous topic for people. So how to overcome your fears and take action, right? What on earth would we be doing if we had no fear? So I want you guys just to settle in because I need this myself. I want you just to take a second and close your eyes and let yourself be here because I'm sure many of you are just got done with work, maybe you were rushing, maybe you just fed the kids, maybe you had a crazy day, maybe you're feeling a lot of stress. I just want you to take a second and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth and just be present. Get here, you're in the chair. This is your time just for you because I want you to really listen to everything and take it in and apply it. So we're going to be talking a lot about that. And if you do not have a pen and a paper yet, make sure that you go grab it or you pull up notes on your computer because we're going to be working through a lot of different things and I'm going to be giving you, I always, if you've ever been on a webinar, you've ever listened to any sort of podcast or anything from me, I always like to give you homework and lessons that you can work through and you can apply to your life immediately. Because I love to give information, but information without application means nothing. So I want you to make sure it's all written down and that we're going to, or you're going to apply it later. So let's begin. I want to talk to you guys about how we're really going to dig in tonight and how you're going to bust through those fears so that you can start taking action. And the number one reason why we have fears is from our past. It was stories and beliefs. So that's the number one thing we're going to talk about tonight. Number one, stories and beliefs. So where did these come from? So when we grew up, we were basically this beautiful blank slate, right? When we were babies, we didn't know anything. If we would have been born on the other side of the world, we would have had the beliefs, the thoughts, the ideas, the language, the food choices, everything, the likes, the dislikes, that majority of the people on the other side of the planet have. So if we were born in, let's just say China, we would have a completely different set of beliefs. Do you agree? Raise your hand. Good. So basically, we are just the product of what we've been told, our family, our teachers, and our everything that we've seen, everything that we've heard, everything that society has told us about being a girl, about being a boy, about what we should like, about what we should choose. We are just a massive product of our surroundings. So whether you had a story when you were younger or something happened to you or something traumatizing, you might still be carrying that story. So for me, I'm going to use some examples. So for me, I had a story growing up that I had massive anxiety. I couldn't do any public speaking. I couldn't speak in front of people. When the attention was on me, I would panic. And this is because I saw a lot of panic attacks. I saw a history of nerves, of panic, of different disorders in my family. So I remember it was about 6th grade. I used to love to read. I used to love to dance in front of people. I used to love to speak in front of people. I loved being the center of attention. And it was about 6th grade when I saw some panic attacks happening in the flesh, that in that moment, I literally said, I get panic attacks and I get really nervous. And from that moment on, I remember going back to school. I couldn't read in front of people. I couldn't breathe. I was having blackout moments. I literally did anything to get out of speeches, literally anything. Like I would make myself physically ill. And it flipped like a light switch. So this is the story that I clung to well into my mid to late 20s. And it snowballed, if you can imagine, because the more I fed it, the bigger it got. So I absolutely was not feeding the belief that I was outgoing or that I was smart or that I was capable. I literally fed everything the other way. I'm not smart enough. I have panic attacks. I have anxiety. I have nerves. This got so big. It got so overwhelming that I literally went and sought help. I went and sought professional help. I pretty much did everything that I possibly could do besides work on myself, work on my mindset, which we're going to talk about, create mantras, and did everything that wound me up in an even worse position. So it wasn't until I hit rock bottom about 40 times. Okay, really, it was like 3 or 4 really bad times where I thought I hit rock bottom and then the bottom of that rock bottom dropped out. Have you ever been there? And then the bottom of that rock bottom dropped out. And then finally you're like, please, let this be the last rock bottom, and the bottom drops out. And finally you're like, okay, I can't handle living this way anymore. I have to seek other ways to live. And when I really committed my life to seeking other ways and releasing that story is when, like, just being ready to be done with it, just being ready to move on, just saying to God and the universe, saying, I'm ready, I am open, I'm going to do the work. That's when your teachers will appear. That's when those books will show up. That's when that class will open. That's when that person's going to direct you to something that you need. So what story are you clinging to that is stopping you right now? I want you to really think about this. And if you're playing the blame game, that might be the story that you're clinging to, is that it's everyone else's fault or you got the short end of the stick. Why do I know this? I had that story too. High five. All right. When we can call our stories out, when we can figure out what the heck is going on, that is how we can move forward. So if we can't call it out, we can't figure out, we don't know what we're working with, there's no way to fix it. So tonight is all about having a non-judgmental look, taking that 100% true inventory on ourselves without criticizing ourselves. It's the most beautiful place to be, you guys, when you realize, whoa, this is what I've been doing. This is how I've been stopping myself. These are the stories I've been telling myself. Okay, what do I do next? How do I stop this? So that non-judgmental perspective, and just say, all right, this is what I've been doing. Wow, that's pretty intense that I've been doing this to myself, because we can't move forward without taking ownership of what we've been doing. So when we give our ownership away, when we blame other people, when we blame our situation, when we blame our lack of knowledge, our lack of college, our lack of whatever it is, you give your power away. That says it's not mine to be able to fix. It's this person's fault. It's this thing's fault. And you give your power away and it says, I can't fix it. When we take control, when we take responsibility for all of the choices that we've made up until now, even if they've been not so good or maybe a product of what we really thought we believed or what our surroundings were, when we really take responsibility for that is when we can say, I did do that, and now I can do this instead. There's always a set of choices that we're not making right now that we are capable of making tomorrow or in the next hour. Am I right? Yes. So stories and beliefs. What story are you clinging to? I want you guys to take a second, if you have your pen and your paper, and write it down. If you don't have a pen and a paper, use your computer or just call it out in your brain right now or say it out loud. Sometimes when we say it out loud, it just feels good to release it. So for me, it was, wow, I'm blaming my entire family for panic attacks and seeing them, and this is how I'm raised, and I'm so upset with my mom, and I'm upset with this person. Sorry, Mom, we've really worked through that. But you know, we blame all of those people in our lives, and it wasn't until I said, okay, I can figure out what I'm doing to myself, and I'm absolutely feeding that fear. So whatever you feed, that's what's growing. So you really want to make sure you're checking out your thoughts. So, you know, what story are you telling? I have some things up here. It says, I'm not worthy enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not lovable enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good at sports. You know, so many men relate how just who they are, their identity, and women as well, with their jobs, with their title, with who they are. And without that title, I know for me, forever, I needed a title. It was like I was so in search of this title. I didn't even know, how to answer people, or I felt completely worthless without having some sort of amazing title. And I was willing to take whatever. I remember at one point I was like, I'll be a dental hygienist or a dentist or a teacher. All things I'm not interested in doing. It was just things that were short amounts of school that gave me a title. You guys, these are the crazy thoughts that you think when you just feel like you're grasping for straws and you need something to complete yourself. It's seeking external, basically external validation for something that we just need to work through and find what our soul is really trying to tell us. So what is it that's telling you you're not enough? Are you comparing yourself? If we can get rid of these phantom stories that haunt us, guess what you can get rid of? Your fear. You can get rid of those stories. We can start to get rid of those fears. So remember when I asked, what would you be doing if you didn't have these fears? It's really a crazy thought, right? It's like infinite potential to do things in your life that you would love to do. And I know if you're on this webinar, your soul is screaming at you. It probably wakes you up like mine did, or still does, at 2 a.m. in the morning that says, what are you doing? What are you doing? What do you really want to be doing? What could you be doing? How can you be helping people? How can you share that thing in your heart, that story, that song? Are you going to let life slip by without sharing what you know you are here for? And that's what this webinar is about. You are not going to let that happen because we're going to do small things every single day in order to work through whatever fears you're working with. So I want you guys to learn to examine those blocks, because no matter what fear you are going to work through, there's always going to be more, because what happens is you reach a goal and what? You set another one. So that next one is bigger than the last one, because you're like, oh, cool. Wow, I never thought I'd be able to do that. I totally did that. And now I'm moving on. So here's the next one. And here are all the fears that go with the next one. So we're constantly working on a new fear to overcome. So I want you guys to get into the state of always being that non-judgmental observer of what is actually happening in your life. So what story are you telling yourself now? So I've got a new story where I thought I worked through all my stories with all my fears. Like, oh, okay, that's cool. If this person thinks that, or says this, or my family does this, or they think this of me, okay, I know I can always work through that. And we're going to talk about that later. But now I'm telling myself, oh my gosh, this book is freaking me out. What am I going to do after this book? Am I going to have purpose after this book? Like, this was the big goal. So I find myself stopping myself from writing, or feeling like I have nothing to say, which in the beginning half of it, I felt great. And it wasn't until these fears started coming up and I let myself start feeding them and exploring them. And now I'm working through them. So I literally have just called it out in the last few weeks. Okay, this is what's happening. This is what I'm working with. This is what I'm afraid of. And here's how I'm going to move through it. So we're going to give you those tools in just a second. So I want you guys to examine, what are you really afraid of? What is the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? I want you to go there. Like, so people say mean things to you. They probably do anyway. Everybody says mean things to people all of the time. So people maybe start avoiding you. Are those the people you want in your life anyway? It makes you take a real assessment of who's in your life, what you want. And when you start moving into those goals and you start taking those steps to further your goals, yes, you might have some different people in your life. But when you say yes, you will be abundantly blessed. That is the theme here. You're going to have to have blind faith, you guys, because when you have blind faith, you are given abundant blessings. I promise this. Happens every time to everyone. There are way too many examples to say no. When you say yes to life, you literally will be abundantly blessed. So you may lose some things. You may feel like you are all alone, like you're lonely, like life is tough, like you're never going to get through this. But if you stay faithful, you will be abundantly blessed and given everyone that you need on your path. And you will look back and say, wow, this is better than I could have even ever planned. Because you're not always the best planner. But when you throw yourself into faith, God's a really good planner. The universe has a way better plan for you. So leap in, because it is so beautiful. So what's the worst that can happen? I like to ask myself, is this true? Or is this something that I'm making up? Am I going down crazy train lane and just feeding that fear and creating worst case scenario in my mind? And what are you willing to risk to move forward? What are you willing to risk to move forward? What would, how important would it be for you to reach that goal that you want? Is it worth a little bit of possibly people, your fears of possibly people saying things about you? Is it worth a little bit of poking from your family? Is it worth, giving up that job and leaping into faith and trying your new job? What is it worth to you to get to that place where your soul would be singing? That's what you have to ask, and you have to know and make that place so worthwhile in order to go there. So here's the things you need to know before you can get rid of all of those stories from the past. It's in the past. That's what you need to remember. It's in the past. It's no longer serving you. So everyone is over it, but you. Most people, if something happened to you, if somebody said something to you, if somebody hurt you, if there's something that you're holding on to from when you're younger, I will tell you that all the people I've confronted are the things that I've held on to for years and years and years. Most of the people did not even remember they did it. They didn't remember they said it. They've been completely over it. They've forgiven you, or you just need to forgive them now. So the quicker that we can bless and release, the sooner we don't have to carry that anymore, and we can move on. So I'm going to share my favorite quote that I typically always share if you know me. It goes, if you're living in the past, you're depressed. If you're living in the future, you are anxious. If you are living in the present, you have peace. I'm going to say it again. I don't think it's the exact quote, but it's how I like it. If you're living in the past, you are depressed. If you are living in the future, you are anxious. If you are living in the present, you have peace. So if you are feeling sad, blue, depressed, you're probably holding on to a story. If you are feeling anxious, anxiety-ridden, always panicked, you can't even focus on people in your family, you can't even handle waking up in the morning or enjoy your cup of coffee because your to-do list is 50 miles long and you're so stressed out you can't even enjoy your kids or your friends or anything, then you are living in the future and you're not even dealing with the current moment. You're probably completely creating ideas and stories of how your day is going to go, or things that are going to happen that most likely will never ever happen or occur. So when you are living in the present, when you are enjoying the moments, when you're focusing on the task at hand, when you are there, that is when you feel peace. That's where we want to get to. So you can't do that without releasing those depressing, sad stories from the past, and B, quit feeding those stories that you are feeding in the future, right? So that's where we want to get in a perfect world. We would be able to have glimpses of living in the present. So it's just going to start like that. It's not going to be like, oh, I'm so present. Oh my gosh, this works great. It's going to be, wow, I just had a glimpse of, I was present. I was here. I wasn't thinking about what happened yesterday. I finally, for once, wasn't thinking about that argument or that story or that thing that she said. I finally wasn't, for once, like freaking out over my to-do list. I was actually just here. And then you go back to freaking out. But then you have those glimpses back and forth. So when you practice this, you're going to go back and forth like that. So only the things that you allow to affect you can affect you. So this is all about stories, you guys. Only the things that you allow to affect you can affect you. Do you agree that someone can get an equally as negative comment on Facebook as the next person, and one person can hold on to it for a month, a year, 5 years, be hurt, start writing passive-aggressive posts to that person, start bringing a lot of anxiety into their life, and the other person could be over it within 45 minutes by calling a good friend, saying I need to release this, saying a prayer, and really practicing releasing it all day long every single time it comes up. Yes, because I have been both people. I've literally held on to things and carried them and made myself sick, made myself ill. And I've also been the person now who can say, that's not about me. That's not about me. Hurt people hurt people. So hurt people hurt people. So I just remember that it's not about me, and I don't analyze it. I don't let myself even think about it longer than saying, okay, did I say something hurtful, or was this really from my heart, and was I trying to help? If you were trying to help and you were coming from a good place, let it go. Delete that comment, forgive that person. If it was not on social media, release it, call a friend, say you need to talk about something, but you want to get over it. Always let people know your ultimate goal is to get over it and find peace. So you can't take anything personal. That is, I don't know if you guys have ever read or heard the audiobook, The 4 Agreements, but it's one of my favorites. Nothing is about you. You cannot take it personal. If you have not read that yet, it's a great, quick, amazing read. 4 fundamental things that I think every single person needs in their life that will change your life if you apply it. And every situation could have a million different meanings. So, if someone says something to you or something happens, or that story, a lot of people are holding on to a story that didn't even actually mean what they translated it to mean in their life. That your parents could have said something to you, a teacher could have said something to you on a bad day, they could have you could have reminded them of their kid, and they could have lashed out and got upset. So it's only the meaning that we apply to it after that we're holding on to. So that's another thing. We can't hold on to something that probably didn't even mean what we made it mean, right? Because we're meaning-seeking machines. I'm saying mean a lot. We are meaning-seeking machines. So we love to just analyze and apply meaning to everything, but it's about learning to release it. It's learning to let it go and release it. There's no need to carry that weight. Bless and release is one of my favorite mantras. Life can flow if you choose for it to flow, or life can be hard. If you want it to be hard, I promise you can have the most beautiful, perfect day, and you could choose to view or have the perspective that life is hard, and you will see the bad in everyone. You will see bad traffic. You will notice the red lights. You will notice that it's more humid than it is nice out. You will notice everything. But if you are looking for the good, that's what you'll see. So today I was listening to a podcast on my run, and we are always taking in 40 million bits of information. So literally, our mind is getting rid of all of the extra information because we can only handle, I think it's like 40 bits at a time compared to 40 million. So think about that. If you choose to see bad, or you are in a negative feeling, guess what you're attracting and you're picking up on? Your 40 bits are all going to be bad, instead of having those be positive, because we're just discarding everything else. That's why our perspective is always so important, because we see what we choose. I want you guys to remember that we see what we choose. Somebody could flip you off in traffic and call you a total a-hole, and you could still see good in them, literally, because instead of saying, oh my gosh, teach that person a lesson, I can't believe they offended me, they don't respect me, you could say, wow, that person is probably in a major panic and they're in a hurry. They could be on the verge of getting fired. They're probably miserable. They probably skipped breakfast and they're starving. Okay, I feel for them. Sending you love, buddy. Peace. That's what I do. And I feel better. I just feel better. Then I see good for the day. I'm totally over it. I'm already focused on to the next awesome thing, instead of looking for the next a-hole on the street who's ready to flip me off. It's what I'm focusing on each day. I'm choosing to see the awesome. I'm choosing to be happy. So teaching people lessons only causes more hurt. So learn what you need from that beautiful experience. And for me, it's always compassion for that crazy driver. And then I move on. So every hard lesson has beauty to it. It has something that, every tough lesson brings resistance, right? And without resistance, we cannot build strength. I want you guys to remember that. Zero resistance in your life means zero strength building. You kind of just stay the same. And we know that if we are not growing, we're dying. So please send me some resistance, and I'm grateful for it. Wait, not too much at once. I'll take it though. Thank you. So number 2, work on changing that belief. I love this. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to make new connections. I'm going to say that again. So our brains have are basically I'm going to say that again. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to make new connections. What does this mean, you guys? If you're like, I don't get what this means. It means that you can change the way that you think. It means that you have the ability to find new answers and learn new patterns and new behaviors. So it's not like once your brain is wired and once you have learned a certain way or you believe a certain thing that you are stuck there. So when people say, this is just how I am, I'm negative, I'm not a super happy person, I don't smile, I'm not friendly, that is not true. That's not just the way you are. It's the way that you are right now, or it's the way that you are choosing to be. I know that is tough because when people said you're choosing to live in panic and you're choosing to have anxiety, I wanted to punch them in the face. But once I understood that I am choosing to feed that, that's when I felt so much better. Sorry, it's getting hot in my house. I'm getting a bit shiny. I'm super passionate about this, so I'm sweating. It's good. Sweat means you're passionate, I think, or it means your air conditioner's not on. All right. So it's not just the way you are. Neuroplasticity means we have the ability to change. How exciting is that? What we're choosing to focus on, what we're choosing our thoughts to be. So I'm actually going to turn my air conditioning on really fast. All right, you guys, most people would not do that, but I'm choosing to be more comfortable. All right, so the thoughts that you choose to focus on will be what your mind is basically reprogramming into your subconscious. So if you don't believe that you're supported, you're going to somehow seek and surround yourself with people who don't support you, and maybe who use you, or maybe who take advantage of you. And whatever you want to create begins with a thought and a desire. So what are you guys thinking? What have you been thinking lately? What are the thoughts that you're feeding the most? I want you to write this down right now. So when you look back at your whole day, have you been thinking positively? Have you been thinking about those goals that you want to reach? Or have you been feeding a lot of that fear? Have you been feeding, oh, I'm just here we go again. I'm home from work. I'm way too tired to reach my goals. I'm going to sit in front of the TV. My show's on. I'm already feeling weak. I feel like eating crap tonight. Or are you choosing to feed yourself positive thoughts? No, I'm not going to do that. Right now, I'm committing in my mind on my drive home. I'm going to say mantras. I'm going to do the things. I'm going to picture myself doing the things that I want to be doing. So how do we do this? How do we really reprogram our minds? What are some go-to things for you guys to use to make sure that you are creating the life that you want? So here's what I do. Whenever you hear those old thoughts creep in and those old patterns showing up, you have to have a plan. For me, I literally yell no out loud, or in my brain, no, stop, no, or stop, or delete, or clear, anything that makes you take notice of what you're doing. You're noticing your brain having old patterns. You're noticing your mind having those old patterns and saying no more. And I say it to myself, I forgive that thought and I'm choosing again. I forgive that thought and I'm choosing again. So if you want to say something like, I'm forgiving that old thought, I'm forgiving that negative thought, I'm forgiving that past thought, I'm choosing a more positive way of thinking. For me, I'm forgiving that thought and I choose again. Then have a mantra ready around the topic, because you can't just say no and then not insert a new positive way of thinking, right? So for me, I'm going to use my example. Let's see, I hear something coming up or someone offers me something to move my career forward. Oh, you can come and speak at this fitness thing, because I know that you eventually want to do public speaking and get in front of more people and teach. Here's my brain. Oh my gosh, I have panic attacks. When I have attention, I freak out. I'm going to pass out. People are going to think I'm a total fraud. They're going to think I look ridiculous and I'm never going to be able to do it again and no one's going to ask me ever again. No, here's my brain. No. Stop. I forgive that thought. Insert your new mantra. For me, I had to do something really specific and short. I highly suggest this, and do it in the present tense moment. So I enjoy public speaking and I thrive in front of people. Yep, It is that easy, you guys. You just have to do it over and over and over and over again to create that new neural pathway. Because right now my pathway is very easy and it wants to default to the normal, I have panic attacks, I have panic attacks. When you stop it, you interrupt that pattern and you say, no, I want to create that. I want to make this look more like this. I want these to connect. So that's where I insert the mantra. Again, I enjoy public speaking and I thrive in front of people. You guys, I say this before my Bliss projects. So literally, it's like my slate is totally wiped clean and I'm scared to death. Once again, I still get so nervous in front of people speaking. I say a prayer before I go up and I say I thrive in front of people. I love public speaking. I thrive in front of people. I love public speaking. And I keep saying that until I feel it. Like I really let myself feel that feeling of what it would feel like to love being up there. I also try to imagine if I was never allowed to go. I'd feel so, if someone took that opportunity away from me and said, there you go. Yep, you never have to public speak. You never have to worry about that fear again. You never have to get your story out in public. You never have to be the center of attention. Here is your wish on a golden platter. I feel like I want to die. So picture that. Picture your goal and picture someone taking it away from you. Do you think that if they said you have 30 seconds to jump at this opportunity or you'll never have it again, do you think that you would do it? Yes, you would, because you can't imagine dying without accomplishing that thing. So what do? We say, the fearful voice comes in, right? That story, that thing, whatever it is from your past, from your childhood, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough. No, I'm choosing another thought. I forgive that thought. Insert your mantra. So for me, I enjoy public speaking. I thrive in front of people. Or I am enough. I love sharing my message with people and I know people need it. I know there are people out there that need it. So right now, have your story, right? You've written down your story on your piece of paper. I hope you're doing your homework. Have your story and underneath, write what you're going to say when you stop your thought. So it is, I forgive that thought and I'm choosing again. And then I want you to write out your mantra. So write out one sentence because you don't want it to be too long. Oh, I'm beautiful. I'm awesome. That's just a story. I'm an overcomer. I can do this. That's way too long. That's not going to work. You just need, I enjoy public speaking and I thrive in front of people. Or I am enough. I love sharing my message with people. Whatever that is, it's got to be solid and you have to remember it because you're going to be using this 100, 200, 300 times a day. I promise you. This is going to take time, you guys, but if you commit, this will work. If you are not committing and you're saying that's a bunch of crap, it's because you have not done it long enough, because I have applied all of these things in my life and they work. If I can overcome it from having crazy panic attacks, blackouts, anxiety, and to being able to speak in public, you guys can absolutely overcome some of your fears. So number 3, you must decide. So like really, really decide that you want this thing, that you want this thing that you're going for, that you want those goals, because you can't just dabble. You'll never get it. It is an inconsistent message to, number 1, people, to God, to the universe, to everything that you are sending out. It's inconsistent. So you're sending back, I want this, and then you're doing something else that says, I do not want this. I'm blocking this out of my life. So, and it says that to people too. If you're looking to find a supportive tribe of people, they're not going to go with the inconsistent person. They're going to go with that solid person. People want that person who's really sure. So it's just about being the most confident person in the room or acting like the most confident person in the room. And people, even if you don't feel that way, if you act like it, people are going to believe it and they're going to be attracted to that. So it's about really deciding. And I love this. Tony Robbins says, if you want to take the island, you have to burn the boats. What does that mean? That means if you want to take over the island and your enemy is on the island, if you leave yourself an out of leaving your boats at shore, you are going to jump on those boats when you get scared. So if you want to take over that island, if you want to make sure you hit that goal, you burn those freaking boats and you make sure that you do not give yourself an out, because I promise you, if you say you're going to that party and you're not going to drink, but you give yourself an out with, oh, maybe just 1 cocktail, you'll be drinking that just 1 cocktail or 2 cocktails or 3 cocktails or 4 cocktails. I promise you. So if you give yourself an out, you will always take the out. You have to burn the boats. You have to say, I am committing in my brain right now. This is what I'm doing. I'm writing it down. I've told people I'm committing. I'm there. So whether that takes a day, whether that takes a week, whatever it is, you have to be there. So for me, if I'm going to events, like I'm going to a big event next week, I don't want to drink. I don't want to party. I want to wake up for my workout. So I've committed already to doing that. I want to save my night of cocktails for the very last night so that I can get as much out of the event as possible. And I know that if I give myself an out, I'm going to be having martinis. I know, and especially now that I've told you guys I'm not going to do it. So I know if I give myself an out, I'm going to be allowing myself to have that out. Oh, just that one turns into two, turns into three, turns into a skipped workout, turns into more food, turns into me trying to find pop chips during the middle of the day. That's just what happens. Gets a little crazy. So do not give yourself that out. Mentally commit beforehand, no matter how long it takes. Write it down, mentally commit, practice it, see it, feel it. How to lock in this decision? How do we lock in this mental commitment? For me, it's envisioning. It's seeing myself doing it, like I said, picturing it, designating time every single day to do this. So whether it's your morning shower, where you just see yourself following through with what you want, whether it's your morning commute, whether it's during your morning cup of coffee, you're going to take at least 5 minutes to envision yourself, to feel it, to see yourself following through, to know how good you'll feel once you're done, once you've reached it, once you've committed. Maybe you made it through the whole weekend doing what you wanted to do, getting your workouts in, maybe doing a project, reading a book. See yourself when it's done and how happy you are, how accomplished you feel, how good you feel when your head hits the pillow. And also picture, this is a huge one for me, picture not doing it. Picture what Monday feels like. Picture starting over again. It's exhausting. So, and if it happens, I forgive myself and I move on and I recreate this all over again. I start from scratch. I never, ever just say, well, screw that, right? Screw that, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna just whatever. A case of the efforts, right? So it's about just saying, well, I never stopped. I just had a little bump, so I'm picking up again. You never stop, never say you stop, never say you quit. You just had a little bump, we're picking up where we left off, right? Got it. That's how successful people think. It's not how I used to think, but it's how I think now. So make it more amazing to conquer your fears than to stay in your comfort zone. So right now the comfort zone is cushy, it feels good, it has some of your favorite treats, it has some of your favorite friends to go out with, it has some of your favorite shows, but what it doesn't have is fulfillment, accomplishment, true happiness, that feeling of not being anxious every single night, a true purpose that pulls you out of bed. You guys, when you jump into your fears and you find that real purpose that is calling you, it doesn't just excite you, it pulls you to it. It pulls you out of bed. You cannot wait to connect with people and wake up and do exactly what you know your heart and your soul is on fire to do. So if you are bored, if you are going into work every day feeling like you cannot picture going one more time, you'd rather stick hot forks into your eyeballs, then it's time to start following that fear, because that fear is your guide to where you should go next. What are you scared of? Are you scared of asking for a promotion? Are you scared of going to that fitness class that you know is going to push you? Are you scared of going to that event because you really don't think it's for you, but you've got a little bit of interest? Are you scared of talking to that person that is doing exactly what you think you would love to do, but you're either A, too intimidated, B, you don't think it would help anyway? What is that thing? That fear is guiding you. Write down everything that you're afraid of and look at how that can be your map. Say, what could I start with here? What is one thing I could do to reach out to somebody, maybe to a mentor, maybe go to that class, maybe ask a friend to go. Do anything that you can to follow a fear. It's like saying yes. When you follow that fear, you're saying yes to your truest desires, to your truest purpose, and your next step will reveal itself. You're not going to see what you're supposed to do. You're not going to see your whole path. Just like in navigation, I always use this. Everybody uses this. If I am in California and I want to go to New York, I simply type in the address. All I know is my next turn. That is all I know. All I know is turn right when I hit Montana Avenue. That is it. I do not know what highway I'm going to take. I have no idea the detours. I have no idea what I'm going to pass by. I have no idea what is in my future. But as soon as I take that turn, the next turn is going to be revealed to me. It's just how it works. It's just how it works. Have massive, massive, massive faith. Unmovable, untouchable faith. That's what all this envisioning, that's what everything is going to do for you. So you have to do the work, you guys. I'm going to summarize this all at the end. So envisioning, picture it, see it, take 5 minutes a day to envision. Another one for me that is huge, that's changed my life and rocked my world, is meditation and prayer. I do the combination together, about 10 minutes. Sometimes I only have 5 minutes, I'll do that. On days that I can do more, I do more, 15 to 20 minutes. Meditation and prayer. Why? Why do we do this? For those of you that are like, I'm not going to do that. It is so important because we live in a squirrel-filled world. It's all about this, that, the other thing that's going on, a million distractions. You can have it now, have it your way, supersize it. You can have it however way you want it, and then there's songs about it. And it's just basically programming us to think that everything is supposed to be fast, that we should be watching a movie while we're on our phone, while we're on our computer, while we're playing with our kids. You can't do it all at once. It's too crazy. So what meditation and what prayer does, especially the combination together, it slows your mind down and helps you learn how to focus, which is exactly what you need to reach your goals. Because without a focus, without a clear target, without a clear goal, you'll never be able to hit it. So when you're not focused, you get scattered results. So if you have scattered focus, that's the quote, scattered focus equals scattered results. So when I'm all over the place and I'm like, oh, this is what I want to do. So one day I pay attention to writing a book, and the next day I'm like, oh, I want to be doing fitness camps. So I focus on creating all these different fitness camps. What do you think is going to happen? Am I going to be all over the place? Where's my energy going? It has to be about consistent focus every single day. I'm not saying you can't do both at once, but if this is new to you, you got to focus on one thing at a time, or it's going to be overwhelming, right? We only have a set amount of willpower through the day. We're going to talk about that later. So like I said, meditation, prayer, say bold prayers, you guys. Ask, ask, ask. We don't get what we don't ask for. We are not just here to live life and walk through this life. We are here to live a life of purpose and help other people. So when we ask for what we need, we're able to give more. We can't give what we don't have, right? We cannot give people what we don't have and what we don't understand. So it's all about you learning so that you can teach, you healing so that you can heal, right? You figuring out all of your crap and understanding it so that you can help other people figure out the same crap you went through in those stories so they can understand it. So number 4, create realistic daily rituals. This is number 4. Don't get overwhelmed. We only have a set amount of willpower in the day, like I just said. Literally, this is absolutely true. I love Sean Achor. I talk about him all the time because he talks about how our brains work and how literally anything outside of our normal habits is going to really drain our willpower quickly. So brushing our teeth, picking out our clothes, driving to work, all those things are normal habits. Things like if you're not a workout person and you're not a goal-oriented person right now going towards your goals, if you try to get in a full workout, think about your workout, argue with yourself over your workout, and try anything else outside of that, you're already draining a lot of your willpower. So if you try to do 10 other things on your to-do list and you're everything or nothing person, all or nothing person, you are going to be completely drained by the time you finish arguing yourself about completing your workout because we only have a set amount. So if you can clear that slate and say, here's what I'm working on right now. It's about picking your top thing that's going to change your life and move you forward and set a foundation. Okay, so when we're creating those rituals, it's about picking that one thing. Okay, for the more advanced, I'm going to talk to you later. More goal-oriented, you just sit still. Because I know you're already trying to fast forward to the next thing, but this is live. So one thing that's going to move that needle forward, you guys. So if it's more sleep for you, if you're exhausted, if you're crabby, if you're hungry all the time, you probably just need to focus on getting to bed earlier. So that's your one thing. So that's what you're going to focus on over the next couple weeks. Once you start getting that down, you can add another thing. Maybe you can add getting to the gym for 20 minutes, not the 60 minutes and feeling like a failure, because we want to set ourselves up for success. Yes, we want to push ourselves a bit, but in the beginning, you need to set yourself up for success. Because what happens is when we set ourselves up for failure, we set these massive expectations, right? And the only way that we can be let down is having massive expectations. So I can't believe I'm going to say this, but lower those expectations in the very beginning so you can meet it, feel awesome, hit that goal, then crank it up the next day or the next week when you feel accomplished. Okay, so small steps. So for the more advanced, and you're like, I've got my workout down, I've got all this stuff down, I've got my fitness down, I've got my food down, I've got my sleep down, I've got my schedule down, but I just can't seem to get to this goal, or I have this fear. All right, what do we do? We're gonna pick the top 5 things that move us forward outside of what we're already doing, right? And we are going to break them down into small things. So you can say, today I want to reach out and ask a mentor a question that I don't understand. I want to Google something that I don't know about and I want to read a page about it. I want to read for 10 minutes in this book that I know is going to move me forward, all about my business plan. And whatever those things are, take your 5, make them realistic, and hit them. That's for more advanced. Remember I said that, you guys out there. List of 5, right? John Assaraf, I believe, lives by this. I'm just started listening to one of his books too. But rule of 5. Have your 5 every single day. Don't do more than that. Just have 5. If you only make it to 4, bless and release, move on, start again, try your 5. If you're finding yourself consistently not hitting those 5, maybe break it down to a number where you're still moving forward for a while, where you feel like you're hitting them, and then add it again. So speaking of 5, we're moving on to topic number 5. Surround yourself and seek out the people and places to support you. So I hear this all the time, you guys. I don't have a tribe like you. I don't have support. My husband doesn't support me. My family doesn't support me. Okay, I totally get it. And I want to tell you why I get it. And I feel for you. I do, because I was there. I totally was there. My husband and I have this beautiful supportive marriage. We even work together now, but we struggled hard. We didn't support each other in either of our goals because they were totally opposite. He didn't understand my body goals, or that I wanted to compete at the time. He wanted to go out and have drinks with his buddies and have, make friends, and I can't blame him for that. It was just completely different. So I had to seek support in order to find people who were interested in the things I was interested in. And for a while I complained and said, I have no support, I can't do this. And you need to be what you need, you guys. Listen to that. It's so basic. The only way you're going to get what you need is to be what you need. If this is harsh and challenging for you to understand, I get it. It's the whole taking responsibility thing. So you need to be what you need. So instead of seeking external support, figure out ways how you can support yourself, right? Where can I go where people feel exactly like I do, or are doing what I want to do? Who could I talk to who I know has struggled with the same thing, but is moving forward in their lives and is getting the things that I want, or seems really, really happy? I want to be happy. I want to talk to those people. How could I find out? You guys, there is Google. It is so beautiful because we can search anything now. So we literally have zero excuse. If you have a computer, if you have a phone, if you have a search bar, search engine, whatever, you can find everything that you need. Like, I just started a free meetup for people in Santa Monica for a workout, for meditation, for a group discussion. And because I didn't think there was one, and I found 200 other ones just in my local area within 5 miles. So you have to go and look online. You have to go to meetup.com. You have to go Google what gyms are around you, what yoga studios are around you, what meditation centers are around you. You have to go to where those people are. You have to go seek out the books on the topics that you need to learn about, because books have changed my life. Without books, I would not be anywhere that I am. I'd still be in that same place of being anxious, not accomplishing anything, thinking that I could never finish anything, because I needed those books and those people to breathe belief into me when I did not have it. I needed to hear their stories. I needed to know that they struggled with the same exact thing. So read books, seek out those places, be what you need. Be what you need. Go seek it out. So number 6, we're almost done. When all else fails, here's what we're going to do. And this kind of sucks. I'm going to be totally honest. You have to allow yourself to sit with your current choices. What this means, will you be happy at the end of your life if you did not do what you know you want to do, if you didn't know, or if you didn't do what you desire, if you didn't take that leap into fear, if you didn't take that first step? Will you be happy? I want you just to close your eyes. I can see you. Close your eyes. I want you just to close your eyes for a minute. And I want you to think 5 years down the road, if you continue on with your exact life, with your exact actions, with your exact circumstances, with your exact choices and job and beliefs and stories, and same people maybe that you know are kind of pulling at your heart or pulling you back, will you be okay with where you're at? If you say yes, that's fine, because life is all about growth, and true purpose is about growing. Not saying you're not going to grow, but if you don't say yes, that means you have to leap. You have to implement, right? Because you just got all of the information that I used to change my entire life. And when I say change, I mean drastically different from a girl who was doing makeup, doing retail, doing all jobs I didn't love, that I in fact hated, to somebody who is 100% living out my purpose and leaping into fear. And it is scary as heck, you guys, but you can totally do this. And I know that if it's in your heart to want to share your message, to share your story, take these and implement them, because information without implementation is just, it means nothing at all. It's just wasted time. You wasted your time on this webinar. And I don't want that to be you. I want you to at least start with one thing, even if it's just more sleep, you guys, even if it's just making yourself sleep more, even if it's just one more, one prayer a day asking, reveal that path to me. Maybe if it's just, making a better food choice just at breakfast. Maybe you just start at that one meal. Whatever it is, I don't want this to just be wasted information for you. I want it to be application. So know that when you say yes to your dreams, all those angels appear, all the answers appear, all those people appear. Keep saying yes. Keep saying yes. Okay? So I'm so grateful that you guys joined me. I also want to talk to you about the Bliss Project that I have coming up in February. It's February 26th through the 28th. This will be our 4th Bliss Project. This year will be about 300 women, and it's all about this, you guys. It's all about expanding your life, living your purpose, figuring out your purpose. If you're on this webinar and you're like, I don't freaking know what I'm supposed to be doing, what my purpose is, I've totally lost myself, I don't even know who I am anymore, that's fine too. That's a great spot to be, because you're asking the important questions, and you can only get your answers with the important questions. And we're going to make sure that you ask those important questions, not just, what time do I have to get the kids at school today? That's important, but it's not really finding your purpose or what you know that you could be doing or that message that you could be sharing. So without those important questions, we're not going to be able to figure out those big answers. So February 26th through the 8th, I'm going to offer you guys something really exciting right now. If you are on this webinar and you purchase tickets by the end of the night, I am going to send you a free personalized cookbook with each ticket bought. So I'm going to write in there a special message to you guys, because I'm going to see your name come through, and we'll send them to your whole group. So this cookbook is awesome. It's actually got a meal plan in it. So it's got a meal guide that I follow that we've created in it. So if you buy your tickets now, there's group discounts. There's so much good stuff. Get a group together. Get a group of 4 together. Get our 4-pack. And then you can share a room and join us for all of these lessons live and in depth. We're going to do a deep, deep dive into the things that are stopping you. And we're really going to share them and make sure that you have a plan when you leave. And this weekend is so much more than that, you guys. It's not only leaving with a plan. It's not only overcoming your fears. It is making lifetime connections and connecting with that tribe that is going to support you, that you guys are going to push each other, that you have been missing, that you finally feel like you meet your soul on the outside of your body. You see so many other people who feel exactly like you do. And it's the most beautiful, beautiful weekend. So I hope that you join me there. You can just follow the link there to find out about it. You can hit buy tickets now. You can look at our group rates. I really want to meet you in person. It's great because I get to take a picture with every single one of you and meet you, and that excites me because I get to really be in person with everybody who's going through the same stuff that I am or I was. And when we share our stories, they lose power, you guys. When we share our stories, they lose power. So it's about sharing those stories, outing them, creating new stories to live by. So I hope more than anything I get to see you there. Otherwise, make sure if you're on this webinar that you follow me on Instagram and Periscope. It's just at Lori Harder. Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook. They're all just at Lori Harder. I'm always announcing new stuff. Like I said, I have that free meetup in Santa Monica coming up August 26th. If you are in town, if you're in California, you have to come. It's going to be this amazing 45-minute workout, meditation, and group discussion. So far, we have a ton of people coming, so I can't wait. And like I said, that was from meetup.com. So start your own or join one. People love it. I have so many strangers coming. I have no idea who they are. They won't be strangers after that. They're going to be great friends, right? So I'm building a tribe here because I wanted a tribe. I desperately wanted a tribe. I complained about it forever. Once I realized I was complaining a lot, I decided to start my own and take responsibility, like we talked about in the beginning. So not easy. I'm scared to death, but I'm doing it anyway, and I cannot wait. So meet me at the Bliss Project or follow me on everything, and I'll tell you what's coming up next and what awesomeness that we have. I've been Periscoping a lot lately. I know some of you jumped on from Periscope, and that has been so much fun because we get to talk like back and forth. So shoot me a message or write on my Instagram or Twitter what topics you want to know about, and I will Periscope the daylights out of them so that we can chat back and forth. All right, you guys, I am so excited to see you, to have you on. As always, I'm deeply grateful. You are my people. You fill me up. You fill my soul. I'm so grateful for you. I learn from you every single day. So thank you so much for being on, and have a fantastic night. Mwah. Bye-bye.